Welcome to episode number 11 of Life Without Cravings. I have a confession to make. I have deceived you. The title is not really what I'm going to talk about because what I want to teach you today is not how to actually quit. I want to teach you how to get it done. And there's a big difference there that I'm going to talk about. So just bear with me for a little bit and I'm going to explain that difference and why it's important. So the majority of people that are seeking me out, whether that be clients or on YouTube or Facebook, they're always telling me that I can't deal with the cravings, I can't stay consistent with my diet, I'm just struggling with not eating the carbs, or they can't find the motivation to get back on track once they're actually fallen off. There's some flavor of that. And then they ask me, like, what am I supposed to do? How am I going to do this? How can I quit? Help me. And I think that this is the wrong question to ask. I'm not hiding anything from anyone. I have made several videos on how to do it. I have made trainings on how to do it. And still, the majority of people who watch those videos and go through that training, they still aren't doing it long term, despite knowing what they need to know to be able to do it, right? So the better question would be to ask yourself, why do I want to quit? Do you have a good reason for why you want to quit? If your reason is crap, your motivation is going to be crap. So there is a huge difference between how and why. The how will just teach you a strategy and the method that you're going to use to quit, whereas the why is actually your true inner motivation for quitting. The thing that will drive you forward until you manage to quit. So that is the thing that is going to drive you, that is going to keep you going even when it feels boring or feels like nothing is happening. Okay, so the how will be useful. It's really good to have a strategy for how to do it, so that you always know what you need to do. There shouldn't ever be a scenario where you sit and you think, I don't know how to do this, and then you give up because you genuinely don't know what you need to do to get there. So it's useful to have a how, and as I said, I have it all over the place. So if you don't know where to find how, then ask me and I'll direct you to a video or a training or something. The how will help you to stay out of confusion. So if you just know exactly what you need to do and then you do it, then you're going to succeed. That's how clear your how is going to be or has to be. But for long-term success, you are going to need a lot more of the why than the how. Because the how could actually be as simple as stop putting that food in your mouth. Because that's what you want to stop doing. It doesn't have to be complicated. Now, my how is a little bit more dealing with the problem and the problems behind the eating behavior, but it can actually be just as simple as stop doing it. Most people can't do that because they have cravings and they feel like they have to give in to the cravings and so on. But for some people, once they figure out their why they want to do it, that's going to be strong enough and they just stop. And I'm always amazed when that happens to people. I've had people on consults who said, I really want to work with you. I don't have the money right now. I'm going to get back to you in a couple of weeks when the situation has changed. They get back to me and they say, hey, I don't think I need this anymore. I just needed to hear that this is what's going on in my brain. And I haven't touched carbs since then. Sometimes it is that easy for some people, but not for everyone. And definitely wouldn't have been for me. I have so much knowledge and I still couldn't quit. So, yeah, we all know those people, like the people that are almost like, usually like terminally ill or something, and they get given this diagnosis and the doctor tells them, you have to stop smoking or you have to stop eating this or that or whatever it might be. Otherwise, you're going to be dead within 2 months. And they just go cold turkey, they're never looking back again, and they outlive the diagnosis with years. Like, we all know about those people. We might not know them personally, but we have definitely heard about those. Unfortunately, they're not the majority of the terminally ill. they are probably something like 10% maximum. But in this case, like that why can be really, really strong. So they don't need to learn a strategy. All they needed was that really, really strong why. And maybe they will be able to just like slow down their illness or even like reverse it. But they might be able to get a few more years with their families if they just quit that one thing. And in this moment, when you know that your time is limited, 2 months versus 3 years maybe, like hell yes, I'm gonna pay that price to be with the people that I love for another 3 years. Excuse me. And that's gonna be worth it. So all of a sudden, like eating cake doesn't feel very important. Like that cake's gonna kill me, or that cigarette's gonna kill me, whatever it is. And I see this all the time in the community as well. So when I run the challenge, for example, I teach people how to do it. That's what I've done in my in the Master Your Cravings that I've been running before. And people are like really motivated during the challenge, and they employ the techniques that I'm teaching them, and they're getting the results. They don't touch the carbs, and they're like, oh my god, this is amazing. How on earth can it be so easy to do this? And I get messages, I get emails, I get private messages on Facebook, people telling me like, I have never tried it from this angle before. And this is just amazing. This is so different, and it really is working. And that feels really, really good, because they're getting the results during the challenge that they want, and they're thrilled about it, and they're super motivated. So the strategy is really working. The problem occurs when the challenge is over, because I'm not there anymore. I'm not posting videos. I'm not giving them the training. I'm not there pushing them forward, helping them with the homework. I'm not there supporting them and holding their hand throughout this journey. And all of a sudden, it's just like they start forgetting about it. It's like one day leads to another. Well, I'll do it tomorrow. Don't need to do it now. And it's so easy to just fall back into old habits. And then they start forgetting about, like, I don't even know how I got motivated in the first place. We forget how we motivated ourselves to do it. And they might even tell themselves like, well, I thought it was working, but actually it didn't work for me. But it did work. It did work when you were doing it. And that's the problem. Like, we want to say, no, I tried this, but it didn't work. But what didn't work is you didn't do it. Of course it's not going to work if you're not doing it. Never going to work if you're not doing it. And this almost always happens when you have something external motivating you. So if you have me there giving you the motivation, that's great. And that should give you like a kick up the backside and help you move forward. But you need to find your inner motivation as well, because that's where you have the longevity of the motivation. That's where you're going to draw your energy from long term. Nothing external can provide that for the rest of your life, because the external environment is always going to change. So that's why you really need an internal motivator, because no one can take that away from you ever. That's not going to change as long as you know what it is that motivates you. And as much as I love being a coach, I always teach my clients to not need me. I teach them everything that they need to be independent. They might want my help ongoingly, and that's fine. But it's my job to make sure that they are capable of continuing to do what we have been doing, and that they're capable of doing it without any support if they need to. So I never ever want a client to be codependent on me. It's a bit yucky, actually. It's almost like a codependent relationship. If I ever feel like a client is attributing their success to me and tell me I couldn't do this without you, that is a big red warning flag for me. When we start working together, I know that they can't necessarily do it without me, because they still need to learn how to do it, and then how to think about it, and how to get it done. But as we move along, I spent 6 months with my clients, so we have plenty of time. They should be moving along with me. They should be able to learn how to do this on their own, because that is the key to your success ongoingly. And that's really, really important. So that means after 6 months together, they're going to be able to choose from a place of want rather than a place of need, whether they want to keep working with me or not. If they want to, then it's just like a present to themselves, like the cherry on the cake, because they can do it on their own. It's just that they want help. They should never, ever, ever feel like they have to stay with me because, like, to just be able to continue. That's not my goal, and that shouldn't be your goal either. If you feel like, if you're with a coach for whatever reason, whether it's quitting sugar or for something else, and you feel like I need to stick with this coach because otherwise I will not have success or I will start failing again, that's the wrong thing to do. Your coach needs to teach you how to actually be able to do this on your own. So at this stage, like, coaching is only for their personal growth and for them to reach whatever goals they still have much, much faster. It's like a catalyst. It should never ever be about need. And I know that even if I don't ever see them again, like some of my clients, they just poof, they're gone. But I know that they're going to do really well, because that is my goal with the coaching, to make them independent. And this is also why I've changed my signature challenge, Master Your Carb Cravings, is what I call it now. It still has like everything that you need. It has all the techniques that you need to use, etc., the strategy, but we are focusing a lot more on the motivation behind it, because I want people to be able to just take what they learn in the challenge, take it, move away, do it on their own if they actually want to do that, and just take control of the cravings and the amount of carbs that they're eating. I want them to be able to do that even after a challenge, both during it and after it. So not just during it. I want it to be sustainable, but you have to keep practicing it, obviously. So the 3 key takeaways from this episode that I want you to have a little think about and a little ponder about is to, first of all, just like focus on your inner motivation. And if you don't know what your inner motivation is, you have some work to do. You can go through an exercise called 7 Levels Deep. It will definitely help you to just figure that out. It's excellent. You can find it all over YouTube, or you can join my next challenge and I'll take you through it. The second thing that I think that you need to do is that commit to one strategy. I don't care which strategy it is. You get to choose. As long as you think that that strategy is a strategy that is going to help you and a strategy that you can stick with. So don't give up on the first hurdle that you knock down. That is always going to happen. Commitment means that you will keep trying until you get to your goal. And if you are committed to using a specific strategy, you will keep using it and figure out how to use it successfully. Preferably a strategy that you know works for a lot of other people. That's going to make sure that it's probably going to work for you too, if you're doing it. Okay? And the last thing is just to sort of explore whether you're dependent on circumstances or other people to be successful. And this can show up in a lot more areas of your life than just with your eating behaviors. But if you say things like, oh, I wish so-and-so wouldn't bring chocolate into the house, or, oh, I really hope that they're not asking me for if I want a piece of, a slice of pizza. If you're having those thoughts, you're trying to manipulate your environment. And when you are trying to manipulate your environment, you're doing that because you think that the environment decides whether you're going to be successful or not. That is the wrong place to come from. Okay? This is just telling me that you are not independent yet. Doesn't mean that you can't be. Bear that in mind. It's just like you're not there yet, but you can get there. So explore that and just find out, like, how would you be able to come from a place of being in control and just wanting something different without having to manipulate everything around you to be able to succeed. I will soon start another 7-day challenge teaching you how to master your carb cravings. So if you want to learn from me, you can sign up for that one, but not quite yet. I'm going to be in there and give you support every single day for a whole week, and then you can start applying this, and I will just help you to apply it as well. So if you want to do that, just hang on for another week. I don't have the sign up details or any way that you can sign up just yet, but I will next week. It's going to start on the 24th of, October. So I will share all of those details with you next week. So just know that that is coming up, but not quite yet. But until then, just remember like how freaking awesome you are. Literally, every single one of you, we have amazing brains. And when we know how to actually operate those brains, they are super powerful. And you can get there. You just need to focus on that is the goal that you want to achieve. Like when you find that inner motivation and you can just think like, actually I have a brain and I should be able to do whatever I want with it. And this is what I want. And I really, really want it. Then things are going to start happening for you. You can do this. Don't ever, ever think that you aren't able to do it, because you have it within you. If you have a human brain, you absolutely have it within you, and you will be able to do it if you focus on it. So see you next week. Bye.